All right, welcome back to the UJ Chevrolet pregame show. Todd Morris with you here on the Bulldog Radio Network, and it's time to sit down with UMS right head football coach Terry Curtis for our pregame interview. And Coach, we traveled to Bruton last week, got our first win of the season, 16-14, over what I think is a very talented T.R. Miller team, but maybe wasn't the prettiest win overall, but we'll take them any way we can get them.
Well, we can. I'm not going to say we kept them in the game, but we sure helped them to stay in the game. You know, we didn't have any turnover, but the kicking game, we missed an extra point. We kind of have the game under control and give up a kickoff return. So now that gives them the momentum, and then we snap one over the punter's head, which just really gets it kind of dicey there at the end.
Yeah.
And thank goodness William Tanner made a big hit down there at the goal line and kept them out of the end zone. And like what happens a lot of times when you play for another play, a good thing happens more times than not.
Right.
And the next play they fumble, and we get it on about the inch line to be able. But then, let me just say this: I was really proud of getting the ball on the inch line, still with a couple, 2 or 3 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
They've got at least 2 timeouts and maybe 3, and we are able to keep the ball the rest of the game and get a couple first downs and run out the clock. So I was proud of them. I hope that'll give us a little confidence, Todd. And I was talking to them mainly Monday about that. I said, watching you guys play, you play with no confidence. I think you're giving us effort. Your technique sometimes is not great, but just looking at you, you don't look like you have confidence in what you're doing.
Yep.
And we talked a lot about that Monday and playing with a little bit of swagger and acting like, okay, we played 2 games now. I can do this.
Yeah.
Next time you don't have that wild-eyed look and kind of nervous and scared and so forth. So hopefully that way the game ended, I know it gave us a wake-up call.
Right.
You got to be good because our practices this week in the kicking game were altogether different than what they had been last week. A little bit more fire and paying attention to what was going on.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next point, because I was going to say and you kind of said it, we kind of hurt ourselves in that game. I call them self-inflicted wounds with the penalties and the bobbled snaps and the handoffs and the kicking game situations, and it just throws you out of your momentum, takes you out of your momentum of drives and of the game, and just out of your flow. And I was going to ask you what you thought about straightening that out, but you've kind of addressed that with the confidence thing, and I wondered how you all, if you saw it the same way I was seeing.
Well, exactly.
Really
it was just. You win the game and you go, this was just nasty, the way the whole game. 4 or 5 snaps, some of them too hard, some of them Joe's fault. He drops, some of them high. And yourself when you bobble a snap, even under center, or you have to reach for one, it knocks the whole timing of whatever the play call is. It knocks it off as far as is what you're doing, the timing of the play. So we worked hard on it. We may change deep snappers this week. And but other than that, Pierce had a really good game at center. It's just you've got to be able to get the ball to the quarterback, and we worked hard, and he was better with that this week. Now, if he carries it, hopefully he'll carry it over to the game. Well, and he's one of the main ones. He's a good football player. He's not like a first-time player. He's just got to play with more confidence that, hey, I can do this. I'm going to get better at this and just do it,
And you talk about Pierce at center and the offensive line overall. I thought played a really good game. We had 180 yards, almost 180 yards rushing the ball. Junior Bo Wills had a big night, 104 yards on 17 carries, along with Joe's 17 carries, 80-some yards for him. So the ball control is our game right now. That's where we are and where we need to be. And I thought the offensive line as a whole played really, really well.
Well, and it's just funny. You can go confidence, offense, defense, whatever. Hopefully the wideouts got a little bit of confidence too. Camden Taylor had the big catch when he went up over the guy. Then he had the big first down catch.
Sliding on his back.
Right. Denton Elliott had a couple big catches.
Yeah.
Ty Yance. So hopefully those guys, along with what we're talking about with the offensive line and defensively, it gave them a little confidence in catching the ball and doing something with it.
Because you talked about last week in our interview that you wanted to see the wide receivers get better at routes, have confidence in what they were doing. Joe ends up 8 for 11 for the night for 88 yards, and I thought really solid throwing the ball. Didn't try to force it, like we did saw in week one, and so I think the receivers and the passing game as a whole grew up a little bit.
I agree, and Joe, he's played for this is 4th year as a starter.
Yeah, but
But
not a
you
quarterback.
being one, not a quarterback.
Right.
And that's a whole different deal. I don't care how much you experience. All of a sudden you go to quarterback. Now that game gets a little faster.
Right.
The read's a little quicker. You're not even really sure who X, Y, and Z are or where they are on the field. So there's a lot that goes into it that he didn't have to worry about before.
Right.
And I only think you're going to see him get better in that. And as you go along in this, some of these teams are going to be a lot bigger than you, and most of them are. We've got to be able to throw the ball around a little bit to keep them off.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, 2 weeks in a row, the defense has given up an opening drive touchdown, and last week, TR Miller only has 150 yards of total offense, and 80 of it comes on that first drive. And they're playing lights out, except we can't get off the bus.
Well,
so, what's the discussion on there?
Well, I asked them, Sunday. I asked them, I said, "Hey guys, are y'all even watching any film?" and they knew what I was talking about, and they just kind of, shook their heads. But I think it's a defense that's not necessarily young as far as grade, but young playing.
Right.
And again, they get out there, they're nervous. They're not sure what's going on.
Yep.
They're not sure of their keys yet or any of that stuff. And that's what happens. Instead of just playing with confidence and getting after it. And, we had 2 or 3 and outs after that.
Exactly.
But, Lord, we just can't keep going down 6 or 7 to nothing.
And like you say, you practice, you talk about the hustle, never giving up on the play. And, boy, it came through in the fourth quarter for us, keeping them out of the end zone. You work pursuit drill, all you want, but until it happens in a game and they see it, they just don't understand the importance of it.
But it's easy, as a safety or whatever, the guy's going up the sideline, he's inside the 5. Well, this ain't going to matter.
Yeah.
So you kind of half go at it, and you may get him, you may not get him, but William went over there and made sure he knocked him out of bounds, and a big play for us.
Yeah, it turned out to be a big play for us. And then Kingston fans' field goal in the third quarter ended up being the winning points of the ball game. And talk about your kicking game right now and where you feel like you are, because John Ramsey kicked off and then Kingston came in. So where are we right now with kickers?
It's a revolving door because we come in Tuesday and Ramsey now, who I don't, the past couple of weeks, he deserved to kick the ball. That's why I started him, because he was more consistent and everything than Kingston had been in practice, and they know that's where you win the job. He was kicking them in the end zone and kicked the first one other night in the end zone. But then Tuesday comes in and says his hip's hurting him. So now he won't kick it all this week. So now it'll be Kingston and John Stubbs. Stubbs has done everything that he's supposed to do, hung in there, and he's probably going to kick off Friday night. So, the kicking door, right now, William Taylor's still the punter. Like I said, we may change deep snapping on punt, but it's a work in progress, and it's a region game this week.
It is.
They all count the same. It don't matter if you're playing Faith Academy or you're playing Leflore or Alberta or who. They all count as one win.
Yep.
So you do not want to start off in the region 0-1. So this is a big game for us.
And Leflore comes to Cooper Stadium tonight 1-1 on the season, the same as we are. So they at least know what success looks like this year. Always dangerous team because they've got a lot of athletes. Always not organized, we'll say across the board. They got shut out last week against Williamson, but what are your thoughts on them as a team?
Well, even that, they got a lot of speed.
They
do. Quarterback can run it. He can throw it. The running back's not bad. They're big on defense. They got a couple of linebackers that are active.
Yep.
And they're going to be athletic.
Yep.
And we've got to make sure we're better in the kicking game and don't give them anything easy there. And we've got to be able to move the football. It's a game that we've got to start fast. They're a team you don't want to let hang around and give them a whole lot of confidence,
Right.
because they have athletes who can make plays if you keep giving them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. So, it's a good game for us at this point. It's a region game. You don't want to look ahead, but from now on, all 8 games are region games that we got.
Yep.
The games that count but don't count are over, and every game now counts 1 point. If
Right.
you want to get in the playoffs, you got to win them. So this is the first one, and it's the most important.
It is. It is definitely. And so, anyway, good luck tonight. Appreciate you joining us each and every week here on the UJ Chevrolet pregame show, and good luck.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate
All right.
it.
All right, it's Yellow Night here at Cooper Stadium as we honor memory of our former student, Chrisanna Roberts. UMS Wright and Leflore coming up in just a minute. We'll be back with more of the UJ Chevrolet pregame show right here on the Bulldog Radio Network, Sports Talk, 99.5 Mobile, an iHeart radio station.